going on, guys? So my GoPro's pretty low battery, so I'm going to try to make this as fast as possible. But I'm sure you can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about if it was illegal to modify your financed vehicle. So I'm sure if you watching this have a truck or a car that is financed, you don't own outright. This truck is financed. My Mustang and the OBS are paid for, which is absolutely awesome, but I do owe money on this truck. So with that being said, I started modifying this truck basically as soon as I got it home. But I thought it'd be real interesting to think about if it was illegal to modify financed vehicles, because you don't really hear about that. I've never seen a video on it or anything. So I thought it'd be a pretty cool topic to talk about. It would absolutely suck. I'll go ahead and get that out of the way. It'd absolutely suck if it was illegal. But let's talk about why it possibly could be. So if you get to thinking about it, if you get something financed, that means you don't necessarily own it outright. That means the bank or whoever you got the money from lets you borrow the money, and they technically own the vehicle until you pay it off, correct? So, you have to think from a bank that is potentially, they're putting their money up thinking, hey, this guy's going to pay it back, so I trust him with that. So that's what they do. Well, they are buying a vehicle that is stock, especially if you're buying a brand new vehicle. It's very easy to get financed on new vehicles because there are so many incentives and there's so much, I don't know, it's just very easy to get, it's easier to get financed on a new vehicle than an older one, typically, depending on your credit and everything, of course, down payment, that kind of stuff. But if you really do think about it, the bank or whoever it is, we'll just start calling it the bank from here on. The bank is purchasing a new stock vehicle, right? So they have to put that money up, and in the case where you quit paying on it, or heaven forbid you die or something, and they are responsible for it because it's their money. So if you quit paying for it, they'll send somebody out to get it, they'll pick it up, they have no problem taking it, they'll resell it, do whatever they have to do with it. Well, if you think about it, it's kind of makes sense that they would want the vehicle to be stock, right? So heaven forbid someone see this video high up and be like, oh man, this guy's got a good idea, we should do that. I definitely don't think that would ever happen, but I would cry if it would, or if it did. But it does make sense that the bank would want you to have a stock vehicle because that's what they're buying. And so it could very easily, with as many crazy laws as we have these days, it would not shock me if that was a law. We have huge restrictions on a lot of things. Thank goodness here in Alabama we don't have emissions testing or anything like that, but I know a lot of you guys in other states do, so that's something y'all have to deal with there. And I guess, that's not necessarily to keep you from modifying things. It's more on the lines of keeping you from polluting the earth and not doing what they don't want you to do. Of course, there is some states like California and stuff where I think most all modifications are technically illegal, even though they're not very strict on it. What do you think about that? I think that would be absolutely crazy. It would be horrible for sure, because most people that get things financed, they typically go the whole, whatever it is, 3-5 years, however long it is, before they pay it off. It's absolutely great to pay more every month to get it paid off sooner. That's absolutely a great thing. I do that personally, and it's a great thing to do, but not everyone can do that, and that's completely understandable. And financing vehicles, some people look down on that. Some people, oh, you shouldn't have bought it if you can't afford it, blah blah blah. Well, even if you have the money, I know several very, very wealthy people and their families, and they finance vehicles as well, because what would you rather do? Let's say in any scenario, whether it be where you need money now or just for future preservation of yourself, what's it better to be able to say, hey, I went to the dealership and I bought this 50 grand straight up, paid cash for it? Or is it worth bragging about that rather than getting it financed, paying it each month? You can get 0% financing or a really low interest rate on, depending on your credit and everything, of course. But would it better to keep $45,000 in the bank and finance the rest and pay as you go, or pay it all cash? Well, I said 45 being as you put, let's say, a $5,000 deposit on it. Hefty, nice deposit on something, but yet you still have all that money. So if worse came to worse, you never know what's going to happen in life, you would still have that money in the bank. Even if you had it completely able to pay the vehicle out first day, you would still have all that in the bank, and you could use it if you had to, if an emergency came up, if whatever happened, rather than being able to just flaunt, hey, I own this, because you don't really gain anything. Okay, you get the title. What's that? I've got 2 titles at home. It doesn't make my vehicles any better or worse than yours just because I have the titles to them. It doesn't matter. I mean, it is an awesome feeling. It's an awesome thing to buy a car and have the title and not owe on it. It's mainly just awesome because you don't have a monthly bill, but it's really not anything to look down on someone or feel bad about financing something. The main thing is just to have a little conversation about what if it was? I mean, it would be horrible, but it does make sense in my mind, and I'm honestly surprised it's not a thing. Like I said, it would be absolutely horrible if it was. Y'all leave a comment down below. Let me know how you feel about that. I mean, obviously, I think everyone watching this would pretty much say it would be horrible, but I mean, comment down below if it makes sense to you, if you can agree that it would make sense for the lien holder to want it to be stock, because, you know, whereas my truck, I absolutely love everything about it. Most of y'all like most all things to it. I think it looks a million times better than stock and performs to my liking a million times better than stock. However, to someone like a bank or a reseller or something like that, a stock vehicle would be much more appealing than this, because you really do cut down on the market, as well as, you know, have the exhaust. It's welded on there. It's not some bolt-on thing, so they would actually have to pay someone to go in there, cut this exhaust off. If they didn't get my stock exhaust from me, they would have to pay to get the stock exhaust to put back on there. So there would be a lot of things that they have to do. The leveling kit, if they want to take that off, someone would have to be paid to do that. Wheels and tires, if they wanted to sell them, whatever, they'd most likely put stocks back on it. If they didn't get them from me, they would have to buy them. So hopefully this is all making sense, because it makes sense to me. So my GoPro's about to die. It's screaming low battery. So I think I got all the points across. Really just a video just to kind of get a conversation talking about this topic. Hopefully, like I said, no one ever comes to the conclusion that this is a really good idea and tries to enforce it. Of course, like any other laws of this type, I mean, they probably wouldn't be very strict on it. I don't know how. I guess they would pull you over for something. It would be an absolute madness if they pulled over everyone with a modified vehicle to check to see if you owned it outright or something crazy like that. But, you know, like I said, it kind of makes sense. I'm completely against it, and it would be absolutely horrible, but it kind of does make sense. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Y'all comment down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see y'all in the next one.